The Po' Boy Pundits podcast is brought to you by The Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. Pulpery Media presents Po' Boy Pundits with your hosts, Brock and Ben. This is where we discuss the political headlines that grab our attention and all those little jerks that infuriate us.
Wonders for the global economy.
It's going to bring American manufacturing back. Just remember that. Remember.
So here's the funny thing.
All those empty, pristine factories sitting there with the machinery.
And now they're like, we're just gonna, yeah, do it. But here's one problem: is that takes a while, and that ain't happening tomorrow.
Correct.
And two, it's gonna cost more to build because your tariffs still suck assholes.
Well, I forget. I'm trying to remember the company that Trump was touting. They're like, oh, they're going to be building like 2 or 3 new factories, and even the company was like, yeah, but we're going to have to like take out loans.
Right? Are you going to subsidize this for us? Like where? What's up?
Right.
Because, so they're going to move all their shit here, and then they're going to play God knows how much more.
Well, and it's just. And we've talked about it. Is that
let's just go turn those factories back on,
right?
Man.
Like, yeah, that have been sitting dormant since 1971, right?
Exactly.
Like, and then of course that's not happening.
Aren't most of them just turned into casinos now? Isn't that what they did?
Yeah, are there for like parkour dudes to go explore with their GoPro?
Graffiti and high school kids go to fuck
and hobos,
eat fentanyl.
Sure, yeah.
Skaters go.
Right.
So it's either a casino or...
But, even these, companies that are moving back are having to build everything brand new. They have to buy all brand new equipment. So, to pay off the loans that they have to take out, they're going to upcharge everything until they get everything paid off. Yeah. That's how the economy works, apparently. But nobody's filled... And then
it's just like these tariffs are going to make America great again because everything's going to come back here.
And you got 6-shooter Pete Navarro out there doing his little hand gestures. Like at one point it's a pistol, and then he's doing like rock on.
This is I love you, man.
Right. So don't worry, we're in good hands because stock market is rocking right now. Or then you have some of those Fox News hosts going, well, people are expected to make sacrifices in wartime. Honey, we're not at war.
No, but we're about to be because depression comes next.
Yes.
And then we talked about it last week. Yeah. And then after depression, war.
Yeah.
Then you can use all those fucking factories.
We just have to hope somebody attacks us.
Yeah, because we are definitely not attacking anybody.
See, that's where like...
Except with tariffs.
If we were on good relations with NATO and then NATO decided to go to war with Russia, we could still be like, well, we're not putting troops on the ground, but hey, guess what?
We're in war times.
Yeah, we will. Every factory we have is going to be churning out whatever you need.
Tanks and shit.
Yeah. That we then sell. That's... Sorry. Again, it's I've been over this in the last month. The fucking Lend-Lease.
Right.
Bullshit like that, but that's how the depression ended because of a world war. But we're not there yet.
That's what Joe Biden was doing.
Yeah,
he was just leasing out all this shit, basically.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because too, like that's the other part. Like when Trump's talking about rebuilding factories, going like, well, that's what Biden was trying to do, except the new manufacturing was supposed to be, and they should have done a better job selling it.
Well, that's
and doing the verbiage around it,
yeah.
But of building solar panels, of building our own microchips and all that shit. What they call it, green energy, the green initiative,
the Green New Deal.
Yeah, but that's what it was supposed to be. Is that we would?
Do you know how many jobs if you just leaned into? I'm not going to get on a high horse or anything, green energy, but leaned into windmills.
I know.
What the fuck was that? Windmills and solar panels.
Yeah.
Like that's going to create a bigger industry than it is right now.
Correct. And if you're the leading manufacturer in the world, then that
Guess
would
what?
then we would be selling
Then
to
we'll be
everybody.
making America great again.
Correct.
There it is. But you know what? Coal.
And oil.
Drill, baby, drill.
Well, and then I know I sent it to you, but and I think it was either the Times or New York Times, or I really think it was the Atlantic.
Probably.
They figured out Trump's formula for figuring.
Yep. Absolutely. I don't know if you sent it to me. Maybe you did. But
Yeah.
it was like,
It wasn't about tariffs.
it was
about,
like trade deficits.
right.
Yes.
So we
he was
put up.
taking a percentage of the difference of the trade deficit between the United States
Yeah.
and whatever other country,
Well,
and that was his tariff amount.
The one at the top of the list is a country right above South Africa.
Right.
And the only thing we get from them are blood diamonds. But
You're not paying tariffs on blood diamonds.
right, but he's put a 50% tariff on them because they don't buy enough American goods, and
That's not-
and the dude from the Atlantic and another dude from the New York Times in a separate reporting was like, it's a poor ass country. They don't have the money to buy anything American.
Right. What the fuck are you talking about?
So we're just punishing you for no fucking point.
And that's Trump's I don't know what they're thinking is if they're truly into this, where they're like, yeah, see, we're just going to punish everybody until they buy from us.
Yeah.
No, they're going to be like, fuck you, we're going to get it directly from the source over here.
Countries. I can't even pronounce it. I always want to say Lotso, but I know that's not.
Laos.
No, it's
Vietnam. I didn't realize.
or Hetso or yeah.
Not even
But
there.
like they're not going to do anything because they don't have any means to like change their course of direction. And then at this point, it's like, well, now like diamonds are just going to be 50% more expensive to Americans.
Yeah.
So like
Everything.
you're just fucking with K jewelers at this point.
Right. Or Jared's.
Yeah. Or what's the one here? Fagé Mignon.
Fagé Mignon.
Yeah, Fagé.
There's one in Philadelphia too.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one of these
Sure, yeah.
diamond places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck on your Apple products.
Yeah. That's
Or any
that's going to
electronic.
piss off a lot of sports organizations with your championship rings, and now
Right.
they're 50% more expensive.
Jesus.
I guess the front office isn't getting a.
You know who's not paying that though is God damn it, Kroenke.
Oh no.
Kroenke.
Yeah, well, we might get to that later.
Fuck that guy. I'm sorry, he just gave up a home run.
Of course he did.
I don't see how this turns out well at all. Okay, we're gonna get to this. The spin from MAGA. It's basically it's always darkest before the day. That's basically what it is, but in super simpler terms, so his cult can understand.
Yeah, and and anybody who opposes it is like a Chicken Little, like
Right.
Like blowing it way out of proportion. And I'm just going like, it's one if like, Wall Street has one down day.
Right.
But when you're looking at, I mean, this is possibly stretching into weeks, but I wouldn't
Not
doubt
week.
if the Senate coming out, that's part of the reason the Senate has made that public, that they're trying to take over the control of tariffs.
Instead of him just being like, oh, I had a really good bowel movement. Let's just fix this. That McDonald's burger was so good. Let's go. Because, it's just...
I stopped breathing while I was sleeping. Now, let's...
Yeah. I don't understand. And he's just like, he thinks he can sign away everything he wants. And then it's like, you can't stop the executive branch.
Yeah, well, and it's...
You're interfering.
The sad part is that, I mean, at some point Congress, I guess, gave the president, like a blank check on tariffs. that I'm not, and again, I don't know every single thing. So
And I mean, clearly that's the case.
yeah, and that,
You would think there would have to be some kind of
which is weird because
congressional
yeah,
oversight.
right, that, and because that takes in both houses
Yeah.
of Congress, and that it's a matter of the purse. So that's the House of Representatives, and it also affects international relations, that's the Senate's oversight.
Hence a global.
Yeah, that's what
Stock market
the
crash.
Senate is supposed to oversee. So you're going, and the fact that all the way, back to his first term, he threatened tariffs, and even did a few that apparently he wants to, ruin American farming because.
Well, no, he's going to bail them out.
Yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
Watch.
Well, they've already. Just look at his track record with active servicemen and veterans,
Right.
and then I'm sure
No.
he'll follow suit with American farmers.
You think?
Yeah.
He's gonna bail them out.
Yeah. What was the other military thing that?
So one of his real quick. One of his
Yeah.
tariffs were on like an island with penguins in a military base.
Yeah.
So like we're supposed to buy what are those vouchers that we were talking about last week, where you just like buy the shit with the money that you're paying me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're tariffing.
Of course. Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
And the penguins aren't buying enough American goods.
Right. So get the fuck out.
I've seen Happy Feet. I know they can talk.
Yeah. They're sneaky little penguins.
The nasty penguins.
Oh, the Ben and Gesserit. They got their fingers in everything. So another thing is people don't understand their 401k.
Yeah.
Because like that's the easiest snapshot for the average American. Just look at their 401k and like understand it.
Yeah.
And you would see that, oh my fucking God,
Well, and that.
I've lost so much money.
Well, and even too, if you're, I would normally kind of say if you're lucky enough to be in like a group retirement fund or like a union, but that's all still in the S&P, and that's all that shit. The S&P is tanking like crazy.
Yeah, no, everything's tanking.
So, but we're at least a percentage point more than the Dow. Not as bad as NASDAQ, but it's
NASDAQ's
still,
the tech one?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well, that of course that's going to tank because you're talking microchips and everything it takes to make
correct,
tech
yeah,
is a global
that we
thing.
get from China and Canada.
Right. And Vietnam apparently is. I didn't realize we were getting so many microchips and aluminum
Yeah,
from
Yeah.
Vietnam.
because they're shitting on a gold mine,
Yep, that's why.
and they know it.
That's
Like,
why we tried to help the locals.
well,
And we
that's
lost,
why
and we had to
Obama reopened and eased relations with them, and then apparently now we're going to go back in and be like, "Fuck you, we should have conquered you,"
I don't get it.
because that went
Get
so
it.
well.
I don't. Yes.
Because I teach about the Vietnam War, and we talk about how successful that was.
Mission accomplished. That should be this. Yeah, no, we lost a war and an entire generation of Lieutenant Dans. Like we fucked a whole bunch of people's lives up,
Oh yeah,
and now you're just wanting to take more away from them.
yeah, but it's
We love our servicemen.
and what you're already doing too with some of these countries is showing them how important they are to the United States. So now even these even smaller countries can be like, okay, fuck you, 20% tariff,
Right.
or we're not going to deal with that. We're going to charge extra on this or that or whatever. So that, and then the following segment has been brought to you by the Goddamn Sauce. Go to thegdsauce.com for details to order all the sauces to replace your ordinary condiments. The Po' Boy Podcast is a production of Pulpery Media, produced and edited by Ben Grimion, marketing by Brock Ryder, graphic design by Beck Ryder and Ben Grimion, music by the Heisenberg Compensators.